Now, it really pains me to have to say it's been over a week since the Pupacyst arrived, and I've played with this thing, and in all honesty, I could not find a place in this game for this weapon. It visually looks amazing, those particle effects on it, the viral side to it, yeah, okay, really nice. It has a 13% crit chance, which is anything between 10 and 15 can be made kind of useful, but this, with it being a 27% status chance based weapon with an elemental viral 43 permanently on there, yeah, this is definitely more of a status based weapon, so the crit was kind of meaningless, but it has an attack speed of 0.833, making it fairly slow in comparison to, oh, let's just say the lession, which has a 1 attack speed, a 30% status chance. Okay, elemental wise it doesn't have any, but it has 20 impact, 75 slash and 5 puncture, meaning just on slash alone it has nearly the same kind of damage. I mean, this thing does, was it 90 total damage? Whereas the lession does exactly the same, but it's based more on physical, and you then add elemental to it using that extra 3% status chance, and it's faster, which means it's just the lession being something that exists made the Pupacyst kind of useless if you want a weapon that does a lot of damage. If you don't particularly care about that 3% status and you don't mind not having the viral on there, and you can add your own elements on there, and you love the visuals of the Pupacyst, that's where this thing comes into play. Because visually, the particle effect on this does look absolutely amazing. The work they've done on these, visually, it was kind of hard to find a melee weapon that looked as nice, kind of out of the box with this, because as soon as you start using it, you'll notice the particle effect, and it does look ridiculously nice. Even though to build it, you're gonna need 5 built mutagen mass, which means you have to build 5 of them. You're gonna need a forma, some rubido. It's not that expensive to build it, but you can only get the blueprint if you research this inside of the biolab here, which can be a bit problematic if you do not have the HEMA researched first, because you needed the HEMA before you could get to this, and the HEMA was one of those problematic things to try and research. But even though this thing is visually really nice, it only has 47 impact. The 27% status, as I say, building this thing for a status build really is its massive saving feature, but sadly it uses the Shimmering Blight stance for it, which was also kind of a letdown, and one of the reasons this thing has sat in my to-do box for a week, because I don't know what it is, there's just something about this stance that it either works really well or just really kind of annoys you. I mean, again, visually it looks really nice, but trying to perform them can really annoy you. But if you form a 1v on this, you can run Prime Pressure Point, Weeping Wounds because it adds a plus 45% status chance per combo counter, and sadly this thing, even with the 4 dual stat elemental mods, the Voltic Strike, Virulent Scourge, Volcanic Edge and Vicious Frost, will only take this to a 91.8% status chance. So throw Prime Fury on there on top and a bit of Condition Overload to add that 60% melee damage. This thing actually becomes quite a status built beast. It's not going to be amazingly useful for the high level stuff, but for day-to-day running, this thing actually wasn't that bad. It's just, yeah, I definitely think forming off that double dash type polarity, I think it was called something like the Zenuric stance mod, the polarity, and putting something like Twirling Spire or Bleeding Willow stance onto this, which weirdly are all polearm stances, even though this thing, I've heard a few people call it a staff, it's a polearm. Then yeah, then this thing becomes so much better to use. But it's just, with the lession being there, you really cannot turn around and say, yeah, this thing is great, you should get this thing, you should use this thing. And have heard that building some Zors can help you, yeah, kind of build a weapon that's similar to this. I mean, the damage numbers, the viral will never get that high. I've been playing with a few different combinations, and for some reason when I change the grip, the viral goes down there. You can see it's 26. But if I put on a normal one, it's 32, that's close. The Pupacyst does 43, but this also has impact and slash and puncture, whereas the Pupacyst just has the impact. But weirdly, more than anything else, they will end up slower. It's got a lot less status chance. It's just visually, yeah, these things, they look a lot nicer, but the Pupacyst with that particle effect definitely wins on this. It's just you can build different combinations and using different links, and I don't need to go into how the Zor thing works because you can basically build any kind of weapon, but the crit chance, you can get about the same, the speed, you can do the same kind of thing and get kind of similar speeds. There is one of these that increases the, there you go. That's a little bit better, but 4% status versus the Pupacyst's 27. The crit chance is 19, the Pupacyst was 13. Yeah, it does a little bit less viral damage, but has way more physical damage to them, so it just depends on personal preferences. I mean, visually I prefer the weapon looks of the Zor, but throw that particle effect on, Pupacyst wins hands down and is way better of a status built weapon than some of these Zors are anyway. And the only reason I'm even mentioning this is I've heard a few people turn around and say the same thing. The Zors are way better than this. Well, really they're not, because the status chance goes nowhere near and the actual viral doesn't either. So, we'll leave this off here for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch yous next time.